UFC 291 was a very good card, as we all expected. Um, we have a new BMF champion, a new star, and new contender at 205. Derek Lewis back on track as well. Um, as well as nothing new as far as a fight being canceled, taking off the card. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining me on the podcast today for another sports overview of topics. Today for you guys, obviously, I'll be going over UFC 291, the New York Mets seemingly getting younger as the trade deadline is it's either today or tomorrow, but here we are in August now. So yeah, interesting with that. The Angels seemingly have found the rhythm and are just a couple games out of playoff spot. Will they make it? I don't know, but it seems like they've been salvaging it a bit. Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout nearing a return. Aaron Judge did make his return on Friday. Go over that stuff as well. And the NFL training camp has been so, as we know. Go over, obviously, all that stuff for you guys on the channel. But alas, and ESPN. More ESPN news as if it can't get any more difficult for sports fans of ESPN. Go over all that. Alas, thank you guys. Of course, subscribe. If I had a pill with a subscribe button or something. But yeah, it's going to be somewhere on the screen, so look forward to that. But guys know the drill. If you're new, that's the way to follow up with the channel. But yeah. But yeah, nonetheless, shall go over what was a very good card at UFC 291. Now, before we go over the fights that took place on UFC 291, alas, there was one fight that unfortunately got canceled and had to be withdrawn. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Miguel Pereira was reportedly canceled due to Pereira missing weight. As he missed weight by 3 pounds, weighing at 174. Fight was obviously withdrawn. And it was replaced, followed up with a hell of a replacement as Derek Lewis versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima was bumped from the prelims to the main card. So, now again, who knows? It might have been a better fight because, I mean, it wasn't really a fight. But it made for a hell of a finish. So, yeah. But nonetheless, the main card opened up with Michael Chiesa, Maverick Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Chiesa has always he's been a solid fighter, He had a bit of a layoff prior to his fight, and definitely did not end towards his liking. We can honestly say, as Kevin Holland ultimately took the case with a short Darce choke, and I say short because it was in the first round, just took over 2 minutes. But yeah, this is a near 2-year layoff for Michael Chiesa from his last fight. Obviously, fights get canceled and whatnot. That's the name of the game. But Kevin Holland, may move up, back up to 185. Obviously, as, good amount of opportunities. So, we'll see. But I was 1-0 on the main guard, so there you go. You hate to be wrong, but at the same time, it felt like an odd. It was definitely a sad moment for MMA fans and just fans really in general, as Bobby Green versus Tony Ferguson. El Kukui. This fight really had the case, like I said, just had the feel in case that it could. Be, excuse me, could still show or fight of the night besides the main event. And Ferguson had his moment in the first round. He dropped Bobby with a sharp right hand, but after that, he got poked in the eye and really didn't do much after that. And then ultimately, with 6 seconds left in the fight. Literally. Bobby Green latched on a arm triangle, and Ferguson was out, and now, so obviously need to watch the rest of the fight. Unknown if who will won, if Ferguson would have held on those last 6 seconds, but, so nonetheless, like we saw first Chandler, excuse me. Ferguson had his moments early in the fight, and just ultimately could not capitalize. And it's just been real unfortunate. Real unfortunate. As Ferguson, had a long win streak, and now he's off on this losing streak. I mean, it's not great. Obviously, he's been an exciting fighter, given some great moments. And you hate to see him like this, but if anything, he's going to get close to hanging him up. And if not, he's not already there. So, I don't know. But obviously good for Bobby. He's been obviously around the block. He's created some very good fights in the UFC during his time. Where he goes next, well, obviously see, but good for Bobby. Obviously, Ferguson, that's another story. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis. As I mentioned, this fight originally was on the prelims, but due to the Wonderboy fight getting kept pulled for reasons, this fight didn't really get going except for Derek Lewis, as casual as can be. Now adding to his repertoire, Derek Lewis came out, went for a flying knee, which landed flush. Originally, when I saw it, it looked like a solid, clean knee, but then watching back, like, geez, a guy that size throwing a knee, brutal. So, yeah. And then after a bit, I have some ground pound, Herb Dean saw enough. And there you go. Derek Lewis back on the win track. A ranked win. Obviously, had some hiccups with Tai Tuivasa and Sergey Pavlovich. But back on the win track. And there's obviously a good amount of names at the top uh, that would be an interesting matchup for him. Um, we know Tai Tuivasa is gonna, or it's been rumored, but Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov slated to happen in September next month. Um, we know Cyril Gain is gonna fight Sergey Slavich as well next month. You know, you got Tom Aspinall who just beat Tabora. Obviously, John Jones is gonna fight Stipe. But there is a good amount of cats at the top for him to fight. Just have to wait and see. You know, I'd be surprised, if they don't re-sign him. He is obviously a presence, an entertaining presence, and just great guy to have on the roster. Obviously, like I said, he's had his hiccups recently, but he's definitely a funny and good presence to have on the roster. Where'd I go? Oh, Alex Pereira faced off against Jan Blachowicz, the former 205-pound champion of the light heavyweights in the UFC. There's always a question, how does a fighter look, you know, going up in weight, especially against competition, bigger competition, just like how is everything going to flow? How are they going to feel? Obviously, I compared last time Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman to this debut. But, obviously they didn't do well. However, they didn't have the power that Pereira possesses. And he did a very good job in this fight, as well as Jan did as well. And just, you know, because we know how tough Jan is, first and foremost. So, this was, just a good performance by Pereira. Ultimately, it was a split decision, but Pereira got the W, and yeah. And now, with obviously the light heavyweight title being vacated due to Jamal Hill's injury. Question is, what's next for the title? And I mean, a rank over the number 2 ranked contender in light heavyweight division. So it seems likely that we're gonna get perhaps Yuri Prochazka, the former champion, before he had to vacate due to his shoulder injury, who beat Glover in a very good fight. He seems like he'll face Pereira for the strap, and that would be a damn good fight. Damn good fight all around. It's funny, both are still relatively new to the UFC. Don't got a lot around their tires. So I'm cool with it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, good for Pereira. Yeah. And I will also say, so Pereira or Jan says he was robbed. With a close fight. Excuse me. With a close fight and split decision, there's always that question of, when it goes one way, either a guy got robbed, if it's a close fight, you can't really say a guy got robbed. That's the thing. And, I mean, Pereira obviously looked better in the fight, but it is what it is. Main event time. This was we. I am so freaking glad. Now, last fight was very fun. Or I should say the first fight with Poirier and Gaethje. That was very fun. So, how would they how could they top that, or how could? Because I mean, both. When you branch out how both looked, since that fight, they both did really well post that fight. I mean, Poirier, closing out. Now, they both lost to Charles and they both lost to Khabib. However, Poirier closing out his trilogy with, McGregor, they both beat, Michael Chandler. That was obviously fight of the year last year with Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler. But yeah, Gaethje, that phenomenal performance versus Tony Ferguson. Um, you know, just all around, both guys, both had their ways. Gaethje in his last fight versus VsGaethje. Um, and revenge is a dish best served cold, and this finish was nothing short of cold. Justin Gaethje with a swift head kick knockout of Dustin Poirier 1 minute into the second round. Gaethje is now the holder of the BMF belt. I like how he said, because obviously Dustin Poirier and Jorge Masvidal are tight, and Masvidal is former champion or belt holder, and he would obviously have loved to have transferred the belt to his friend Poirier, but instead he didn't even put it around Gaethje's waist. He just put it over his shoulder. So yeah, that was funny but good. Just Gaethje. I mean, as we thought, or I expected it, but I just had this hunch. Gaethje over Poirier, and got it done. Afterwards, Gaethje called out the winner of the rematch between Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira in October. No surprise. So there you go. We obviously seen Gaethje and Oliveira before. We have not seen Gaethje versus Makhachev. So that would both be intriguing fights. See if Gaethje can finally get to the top of the mountain. Yes, he won the interim title fight versus Tony, but the undisputed lightweight title, we'll see. But if anyone can still manage to do it, Justin Gaethje certainly could be the guy. So yeah, we'll see. On to some baseball news. So, with the first of all, I want to check it because I haven't checked the exact date. So, the trade deadline is in a couple hours, and obviously the hottest topic was, as of recent, has been Shohei Ohtani of the Angels, and Mike Trout, his injury obviously hindered how things were going. They were solidly, they weren't like the Braves were a bit of time ago, but they were solidly over 500, and we're in good ways as Otani's been on his run and Trout was able to find his groove. But now seems Otani has, along with the Angels squad, found their rhythm again. And they're currently 5 games over 500. 7-3 in their last 10. They are continuing to grow. Otani's continuing to go for that. Aaron Judge broke the record last year in great fashion. Obviously, there's going to be questions to see if Otani can get there with his lead on the home runs. With 39, it's certainly going to be question there, but we'll see. Although Matt Olson is right behind him with 36, and Alonso is creeping back up with 30. So we'll obviously see, but now with the signs, they're winning. Trout is getting better. I mean, if those two are just healthy and they manage to get into the playoffs, they have a chance. They have a chance with those two healthy. I think they just need a chance. And Otani and the Angels are keep going. Keep it going. Now for the Mets, they have been on a bit of a roll. They have finally managed to get to 50 wins. However, they have traded both Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. Scherzer had a no trade clause on his deal, but he apparently waived it to go to Texas Rangers. It's funny. So Texas took DeGrom, who got hurt again, and now they deal Max Scherzer to them. Just a little hilarious. And then they deal back Justin Verlander, who did a fine job pitching. But for a fair share of prospects, which we'll obviously see how they pan out, but it's like, they have Alonso, they have Lindor, they have Alvarez, or Linder. Mets still have a very good core on the roster. Um, it's obviously a shame how Edwin Diaz had his injury, but we'll see. We'll see how things go, though. Down the line. They're obviously a ways away back out the playoff picture, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, something. But so now we can see that train camp. Well, I think we're all excited finally because it's getting closer. But Thursday is the Hall of Fame game for the NFL. It's Hall of Fame week. Um, so great to see. But Thursday is a Hall of Fame game between the Jets and the Browns. Um, and obviously, the Jets and the Broncos have gotten heat over the last week over the comments Sean Payton has have made or has made about Gaethje Headkick, the coach from last year, which obviously they took a big tumble below expectations last year for the Broncos. Now, Payton looks to turn the Broncos and Russell Wilson around. We'll see. But as far as Thursday, you know, in the end, it's NFL football. Whether you like it or it's NFL football. Um, and the Jets announced that no players, no stars, which no surprise, will not be playing in the Hall of Fame game. So, funny thing is, we'll be seeing Zach Wilson and Mekhi Becton, two of their first round picks of recent years, starting on Thursday. Um, so, but I'm curious, will we see Will McDonald, their first round pick of Iowa State? I haven't checked the depth chart, but he's keep in mind, Michael Carter. I imagine, Brees Hall still easing back after tearing his ACL from last year. We'll have to see about him. But, yeah, some things to keep an eye on. So, we will not see, have to check, but see if they say anything. About their starters. I mean, yes, it is But see if any of the starters are going to be played for. So Kellen Mond will be starting for the Browns for the Hall of Fame game. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, interesting. He will get playing time as well out of UCLA. Like him, so that's interesting to see. But I imagine no Myles Garrett. I imagine no Amari Cooper. No Nick Chubb. Um, we'll have to see. But either way, good to see football back on TV. I think we can all agree. As long as no one important gets hurt. Which, by the way, I have to feel for KJ Hamler, as it was announced yesterday that he unfortunately was diagnosed with an heart irritation. For the Broncos, he's obviously a big play speed threat. They have on offense, so hopefully he beats this quick, and for the Broncos' sake, he's back on the field quickly as well. But obviously, the big story for the NFL over the last some days has been Jonathan Taylor, and Jim Irsay, and the comments Irsay made. It's possible that Taylor may be put on the non-football injury list for the year if he chooses to skip out due to a reported back injury. And, Taylor has reportedly denied his back injury, back issues. And, this would be weird because this is last year's deal. So, it's possible if he's put on this list and sits out for a year, he can be known as a restricted free agent. And, the Colts would have his rights going into free agency. I already said a bunch about running backs. He is definitely one of the electrifying backs in the league, and he has certainly been a vocal point as far as the last number of years. 2020 when Philip Rivers and they almost beat the Bills in the playoffs. Taylor found his rhythm, and was a crucial point for their team. 2021, with Carson Wentz at the helm. Taylor had a great season. Fortunately, last year, injuries happened. Unfortunately, he got dinged up and missed a good chunk of the year. And it's unfortunate. But, yep. Another running back looking to get paid as he requested a trade. We'll see. But, anyways, that's what I had on the dock for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, as I did too. Apologize, my videos have been relatively late as of recent weeks, but now, considering I have a few weeks off of school, definitely will try to post my videos more on time and less less complicated times. So yeah, but alas, thank you guys. Be safe. If you guys like to see it, leave a like and a thumbs up. Help out the video on the channel. But see you guys next week, and I hope you guys have a good one. So I made Joe to in love. Get out of here. Peace all. See. Enjoy Hall of Fame week for the NFL.